Climate change fanatics now declaring war on the most green thing in your home, houseplants. Yep, the ferns you never water is the thing that's going to kill Mother Earth. The Washington Post trying to shame people with this headline. You ready? Quote, indoor houseplants come with a cost to the planet. Here's how to minimize it. Greening indoor spaces can also come at an environmental cost. The trucks that transport plants spew carbon emissions. Plastic pots and synthetic fertilizers are made from petroleum, and the harvesting of soil components like peat can tear up slowly forming habitats. Instead, they suggest you look for local plant swaps or garden clubs in your area. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's green jihad is a total disaster. A giant offshore wind project that the White House gloated about just got killed, like one of the birds that fly into them. Two big energy developers announced they are canceling the contract for a massive wind project slated for construction just off the coast of New York because of inflation. Greg Gutfeld, do you have any plants in your house?
Yeah, I actually have a lot of plants. I don't water them. That's for the wife, as you know.
Oh my God.
She waters them barefoot. That's the only way I have it. I think you're witnessing kind of the last final gasp of the climate change movement. You're seeing a lot of hysterical activity. People are beginning to realize, the public, that if it wasn't for the hysterics, we might have made progress in some real areas, for example, like nuclear power. But instead, you had activists out for attention, personal gain, and consultants out for profit that turned this into a circus. Reality is now punching right through the hysteria. The risk from climate-related disasters has dropped 99% since 1920. And why is that? It's not because of activism. It's because of innovation and human progress, which has made us more resilient. As you know, they talk about fertilizer. Well, if you want to go there, 4 billion people rely on fossil fertilizer. If you're going to take that away, they starve to death. They're not lucky enough to get their lattes and their pumpkin bread at Starbucks after they block traffic. So actually, climate hysteria brought to their desires would be genocidal. You'd have 4 billion people dead. So I think that, like, when you think of the opportunity costs of all this, what problems could you have solved if you hadn't spent billions and trillions on a lie? These climate models are all false. There's no way you can predict. People can't predict 10 years in time. We would have been able to address world hunger, disease, sanitation, homelessness, instead of going to climate conferences and paying consultants. Even the NASA satellites are now admitting that, like, the world is burning less. No, it's not on fire. It's not on fire. So I think what's happening is now, when you're going after the houseplants, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, they said it was going to snow this weekend. Let's see if it snows.
Yeah.
They can't predict what's going to happen on Sunday, but they're going to tell us what the temperature is in 100 years, Sander.
I wrote down a couple of things. I just want to say it's very therapeutic to be here with you guys tonight. I always laugh. It's always fun.
That'll be $100.
Houseplants, Jessica, I can help you with them, especially orchids. I think I gave you an orchid.
You did. It's still alive. It's gorgeous. It
Love
is
orchids.
gorgeous.
The best thing you can do with orchids is neglect. Just neglect them.
I'm that way with
Honestly.
children.
Not with children. Listen, I have a challenge to this White House. We are now seeing oil production at a record high in this country right now. What's happening there? I went and pulled up Biden's campaign messages of the last election.
Are you saying he doesn't mean what he says?
He said he wanted, remember when he whispered to the little kid,
Yeah.
we're going to end fossil fuels. We're going to transition from the oil industry, he said in a major campaign speech. The White House will not respond now to the press who is asking about the increasing levels of crude oil production as the president continues to push this green agenda. Again, Fox Digital reached out this week. The White House failed to respond to inquiries and address the figures in light of the climate change agenda. So why are we producing record amounts under this administration?
Maybe Joe doesn't know it. See, that's what we're talking about. He doesn't necessarily know what his administration
or the oil
is
industry is doing it.
Well, I mean, but that is a good question. I mean, if oil production is up and windmill projects are getting canceled left and right, what's actually going on?
Well, what's going on is maybe middle management is recognizing the benefits to oil production, and there's a lot of lobbyists who are just saying this is what we want, and they're getting it done.
And a lot of them will respond that we're seeing this record production as a result of what happened years prior. Like, because a lot of these leases are years in the making, and
but he was canceling the leases. I mean, that was the problem.
Biden did.
Biden,
correct.
Yes,
and that will play out.
All right, play out in the future.
Takes time.
But you know what made me crazy about this? When he said that, the houseplants were creating a problem, it's like to them, what is their solution? Number one, you're supposed to buy plants locally. Okay, we buy plants locally. Where do you think they got started with the plant? You don't think they use peat? You don't think that they use any kind of, fertilizer for those plants that you bought that are so gorgeous? Of course they did. And then they want me to get rid of my gas stove, which I'll get rid of over my dead body. And then what they want is, they want us to be my gas stove. How much do you think that affects the environment? I mean, you got John Kerry and Pete Buttigieg flying around in private jets, and they're worried about my gas stove.
Leaf blowers too, Judge.
Those too, the leaf blowers. So I should have a house with no plants in it unless I want to borrow it from my neighbor, okay? And then I should not have a gas stove. I shouldn't be able to cook. They have no solution for any of this because it's not a problem. Unless their solution is they don't want us to eat meat because of the cow's flatulence, right? Sooner or later, they're going to say, humans emit carbon too.
Get rid of them.
And get rid of the humans. If you're over 80, maybe we don't need
That's
you
what they're doing in Canada.
Huh?
That's what they're doing in Canada. They're pushing euthanasia because there's just too many people.
Too much farting?
Yeah, no, too many people.
Too many people. Whatever the reason is, they're going to start controlling and eliminating us. And it gets more important as the show goes on. Later block, I'll talk about it.
Oh, I am excited for the later blocks about that. I'm glad we're all admitting that we have record oil production, so that's good, because on Tuesday I had to fight you guys on that one.
But if it wasn't, what would you do? But I mean, you're actually I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think it's great. But so you're saying like I'm for this, but since it's not happening, hooray!
This is true.
Yeah.
Joe Biden said he wants to get rid of oil and gas.
I know, and
You
then
can't have
Why are you bragging?
Is he a liar? Is he lying to the
Just so you
American
know,
people?
the climate
really
change activists are going after the
I
administration.
understand, and they have been. He canceled a pipeline, and they've been pissed at him
And blew
from
up
the
another.
beginning. What?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're. No.
Yeah.
No on that one. I think it's important if someone sees the error of their ways, and we live in a forgiving society, and he says actually drilling is the right way to approach this. And he did, by the way, also give a lot more leases to drill on federal land, something that did upset his base. And we talk about that. He's losing young people because his climate agenda is not nearly as green as it, quote, should be. Why don't you give him the pat on the back that he deserves?
I am.
Apology accepted,
There
Jessica.
you go. Pat on the back.
Yeah.
Drill, baby, drill.
For coming around.
I'll send you guys all flowers over the weekend
Stop
for how
trying
much
to
I've
pretend
sinned
like you were
this
going to get rid of it, and then it's boosted.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.